The shot on the left that you're seeing was made with Seedance, but the reference on the right was made using Blender. And I don't even have Blender experience. That entire render was made by Claude. It built the whole scene for me. It's an absolute game changer for AI filmmaking, because all you need to do is you need to connect the Blender MCP to Claude and feed it your start frame. Then you describe the shot that you have in mind and it will build the entire scene in 3D in Blender for you. It will also create the camera movements and you're left with a usable reference video that you can use over and over again to get the exact camera movement that you need when you're generating your scenes in Seedance. Instead of letting Seedance figure it out, you become the director and you have full control. So in this video, I will demonstrate to you how it works. We're gonna need 3 tools for this. First, you're gonna need Claude. This is the tool that talks with Blender and makes and animates the scene for you. Then you're gonna need Blender. It is a 3D animation tool that you can use for free, and this is the tool that a lot of animators use to create 3D renders. It's a bit complicated, but you don't need any experience to set this up. Like, I don't have any. And the last tool you need is Higgsfield. We're using this to generate our start frame, and we're also using this to generate our videos using Seedance. You can use any model that you like as long as it can use references. In our case, I would recommend using Seedance 2 or Seedance 2.5. Now I will leave a link to all of the tools that I just mentioned in the description down below so you can easily set it up alongside with me. But first, let me demonstrate to you and explain why I think this is an absolute game changer. Reason number 1 is no more guesswork, because describing the camera movement is hard. That's why using a video reference makes things a lot easier, because you're essentially instructing the AI to follow that exact video reference that has the movement in there. The issue with that is that you need to record that reference yourself. If you're alone, it might be quite hard. And that also brings me to the second reason, because using 3D references are much cheaper for this exact reason. Because Blender is free to use, all you need is to have a few Claude tokens, which are relatively inexpensive, and then you can do this super fast on your own PC anywhere in the world as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection. And the last reason to why I think this method is useful is because it allows you to create and direct impossible shots with the ability to regenerate them over and over again, because the reference locks in the camera movement. Because think about it, if you just prompt, you're requiring a bit of luck to get the exact right shot. But you cannot replicate that by prompting again, because each time it might be slightly different. And by having the camera movement locked in, you just rely on the AI getting the details right. For example, if I want to create a result like this with insane camera movement, it's almost impossible for Seedance to nail that. And that is because it is very hard to describe what I want exactly. I tried it right here. So I have this start frame and I put in my prompt. If I then hit generate, it generated me this result.
All in. Whatever. What do you have, huh?
It's a cool shot, but it's not exactly what I had in mind. So let's try it again, but this time we're using this Blender video that has the exact camera movement that I want to see in my video. And then all we do is we're adding in video 1 as a camera movement reference only. That's just one little sentence that I added there at the start of our prompt. Then we hit generate again, and then we get the finished result that is following our reference perfectly. So I'm hoping you get the idea now, because this allows you to get the exact camera movement that you can direct yourself instead of AI letting it do for you. Now let me show you how you can set this up. And remember, I don't have any Blender experience and you don't need either, because Claude will do this for you. First, you will need to download 2 things, Claude and Blender. I will leave the link to them in the description down below. After you have them both installed, open the Claude desktop and click Settings. You go to the connectors, then you click on Add, and then you need to click Browse Connectors. Here you search for Blender, then you click the plus button, and then you hit install. Once it is installed, make sure that it is enabled with the green button. The next step is to go to the Blender MCP server page. You open the add-on section and click download. What you want to do next is you open up Blender, then you drag and drop that zip file straight into the window. Then this prompt box will pop out. You just have to click OK, and now in Blender you go to edit, then preferences, then add-ons, and then you need to look for MCP, and then you click on the arrow to expand it. Then click Start MCP Bridge Server. Now here you might get an error like I did. First you need to go back to System, then Network, and then allow network access. Then you head back to the add-ons and then you start the server again. Then you're basically done. And just to confirm, you can send a message into Claude and ask it if it is connected to Blender. If it says yes, then you're finished. So the Claude to Blender MCP setup is complete. We can now move on to the next step, which is generating our first asset that we will use as a start frame that we can then animate using Blender. You can now generate your start frame. You can do this with any model that you like, for example, GPT Image 2, Nano Banana. But in my case, I am actually using Higgsfield Soul Cinema, actually because this model is very good for making cinematic shots. So what I did is I'm using ShotTech. This is a really good tool to get cinematic shots. So I want to save this image and then we're using this as our reference. So we're dropping this into our Soul Cinema. Then you cannot prompt it. And that's the beauty of it because it just generates really cinematic shots that we can use right now. This is the image that it made for me. To me, this looks super cinematic. So we're going to use this to create our video with. Next up, you want to go over to Claude and you're going to paste in your image. And now we can start prompting this. You can pause this and copy this, or you can also just see all of my prompts in my free school community, where you can see all of the assets and everything that I've used to create these videos. Basically, we're describing the idea that we have in mind for the camera movement. So I'm describing that we have a 15-second scene and I'm describing what I want to have happened. I already included what I want with the camera. Basically, it is zoom in on this guy, then go to this person, then go through the window, and there you see like a hot dog stand. Then we hit generate, and now it will start a Blender and generate this scene for us. Be sure to describe exactly what you want, because it might take like 5 to 10 minutes to generate these scenes inside of Blender, depending on how fast your PC is also. So then Claude makes the whole frame and dimension for you. So here we have the two people sitting by the cafe, and then we even have the background, the taco stand right there. What you can then do is you can preview your animation by clicking the play button right here. So here we can see that this is how our camera layout works as followed. You can also toggle the view. And now you can see how the camera moves through the window, and now we can see it move through that hot dog stand. So if you're happy with that, you can then render the animation by going to render and then render animation. Now you're ready for step 3, which is making a prompt that you can then put into Seedance. So for this, I'm helping you a little bit by giving you this Blender skill MD file. You can just download this and it will help you write the prompt for you. Then you want to drop in your start frame and the video reference that we just made. And now we can start prompting it. So I'm prompting it as followed. Using the MD file to help me generate a prompt. I'm tagging the references in there, and then I'm basically describing what I want to have happen on the screen. And also I'm adding in some dialogue that you can see right here. I basically want them to talk about the UFO files. Then you hit send, and now Claude is going to write the prompt for you. Then you copy this prompt, then you go back into Higgsfield, and you're going to add in that prompt, and then you're going to add in those references. And now you want to make sure that this is correctly tagged, and if I now hit generate, then we're getting this result.
Did you read the new UAP files about that weird orb thing?
Yeah, I read it. It's pretty bizarre is probably the right word for this.
You know, I've been telling Kat that UFOs are called.
Of course, because of the dialogue, it cannot completely follow this camera movement because it will move out of shot while that person is still talking. But if you don't have dialogue going on, then this is also a lot more powerful. Or in your Blender scene, you have to make the camera pause a little bit and then you make it match. So when would you actually use this method? Because still it requires a bit of time. If you have a shot that you know is going to be complex and that you know the AI will struggle with, then I would pull out the Blender tool and then I would let Claude do this for you. I actually have this like quite often running in the background while I'm generating my assets, and that's how I make most of my time, while also generating a lot of different shots using all of the different models. You can click the video that's on the screen right now if you want to learn more AI filmmaking techniques. Make sure you also subscribe because you don't want to miss out on this type of content. I'll see you in the next one.